The world has changed totally in my lifetime, but us humans, we're very slow to change with it. And what I'm thinking about are really our abundant choice of options that we've all got now that people before us could not even imagine. And I think the two generations that are hardest hit by this is mine, Generation X, and the one that comes after, which I think is the millennial. And I'm going to share that by not waking up to these changes, you're not likely to win at life. You're going to be one of the also-rans. Let's look at our parents for a moment and their parents before them. This is generally, and this is a huge generalization, how their lives unfolded. Normally, the woman would stay at home and be a homemaker, and the man would be the one to go out to work. Now, some men, normally men, would be going to university, but only if they were truly gifted. The vast majority of people would either get an apprenticeship or get straight out working. They do that and would work normally for the same company for the rest of their lives. They get a job and say, it's a job for life. That was an old saying. My dad, for example, he was a labourer on a building site. And while he was doing that, he put himself through college, night school, learning for 6 years so that he could make his lot and the lot of his family better. And I'm always thankful for what he did for us. And for our parents' generation, the retirement age was 65 for men and 60 for women. Now, at the moment in the UK, the retirement age, I think today is 66, and probably next year, I think, goes up to 67. Then it's going to go up to 68. It feels like this retirement dream is getting further and further away. I guess that's what they call progress. And then on that dream day, the day that they would retire, they'd be pulled into an office with their work colleagues, have a glass of sherry or a glass of whiskey. They'd be presented with a carriage clock and then be given a toe up their arse and told to get out of there and enjoy the fruits of their labour, enjoy their retirement. And back then, no one spoke of early retirement unless, I guess, you're rich. Early retirement just simply wasn't an option. I guess in many ways, the pensions reforms have made things so much easier for us to all consider earlier retirement. And although pensions have reformed a lot, that's not to say that we change with it. If we fast forward to today, if you were to stop 100 people in the street and ask them what the retirement age is, I would say 90 of them would say 67 or 68, and probably 10 of them would say, retire? Are you kidding? I'm never going to get to retire. But what does the data tell us? I did some trawling of data in the UK, but also in Canada, US, Australia and New Zealand, and all the numbers are fairly much the same. So I'm going to run with my home country, the UK. Well, the largest number of retirees, 45 to 65%, meet that criteria of retiring at 65 or after. Interestingly, 20 to 30% in the data showed that people retired between the ages of 60 to 65, which I thought was interesting. So I dug a bit deeper, and it turns out that a lot of those people retired at the age of 60 because they were women, and it wasn't that long ago that women had the right to retire at the age of 60. And that's somewhat skewing the numbers. And that's what's made it difficult to make a video like this, looking at data sets of retirement ages across the years when the goalpost keeps changing. And looking at the numbers, less than 10% of people retire before the age of 55. Probably unsurprisingly. And coming back to us Gen Xers and millennials, I think we're the ones who are living in the old world and finding it tough to step forward into the future world. If you look at the generations, the kids at school now and I don't know what comes after millennials. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But the next cohort after that, they see the world as a very, very different place. They know that they can turn the tables. They're not thinking about a job for life. They're thinking about what they're doing today and planning for their next stage of life. They have side hustles. They have multiple jobs. I've told you before about my niece, who I think is 21 now, who is holding down 3 or 4 jobs at the same time. These people, these cohorts are seeing this differently to us Gen Xers, and I think in many cases, millennials. And we shouldn't be the ones missing out, should we? Mark my words, if someone makes this video 20 years from now, and got to say, that won't be me, 20 years from now, I'll be in my examining phase of life. I'm not going to be sat in front of a camera doing stuff like this. But if someone does make a video such as this, then they will be talking about figures much greater than 10% retiring before the age of 55. And if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. And in 20 years' time, I'll set myself a diary note to check the comments on this video to see if anyone else set the diary note for themselves when they watch this video to leave a comment 20 years from now to tell me I was wrong. I think a lot of people will go out of their way to tell me I was wrong, so I'm sure someone's going to set that diary note. Will YouTube still exist in 20 years? What will we do if there's no YouTube in 20 years? And actually, speaking of YouTube, I was watching a video last night, just randomly came up on my feed. I thought I'd have a look. And it's funny how appearances can be deceiving. It's this young couple who probably look to me about 22 years old, living in an RV. And I'm watching it thinking, oh, they've made a big mistake. What are they doing with their lives? And then they started to explain how they make money. And these are kids and they've got business brains. It was really eye-opening to see how young people are seeing the world a lot more differently to how I did and probably how you did when you were their age. But there's a really good question here, and that's, what's the problem? I'm always bleating on about early retirement. Why is early retirement actually important? Yeah, we're going to get to the age of 67. We've then got a few years to enjoy the fruits of our labour and examine the life that we had before us. What's the big deal? I'm going to tell you. I dug into some of the statistics and it was pretty sobering stuff. Actually, something I'm going to share with you in probably about 2 minutes' time left me floored, and I'm still floored by it, and it's changing the trajectory of what Sarah and I do in the future, and I'll come on to that in a minute. But the first statistic I looked at using the Office of National Statistics in the UK is around our mortality age, i.e. when we're going to die. Fun, isn't it? And I've got the numbers here, and they don't look too bad. So approximately 15 to 20% of us die before the age of 65, and I would say that every one of those is a tragedy. It's always something, I think, when you know someone that dies before that age where you think, I've got to make some changes in my life. We're not here for as long as we thought we were. The next one, people between the ages of 65 to 74, well, 20 to 25% of us die between those ages, 65 to 74. Now the numbers are looking interesting and a little bit worrying. Moving on, 30 to 35% of us die between the age of 75 and 84. Size of those cohorts is going up every time. And then people that live to over 85, well, approximately 25 to 30% of us will die after the age of 85, which is good news. So the majority of deaths happen over the age of 75, and 25 to 30% of us are still kicking around over the age of 85. That's pretty good odds, isn't it? Well, here's the kicker. I was deep in this. I was down this rabbit hole looking at these stats. I was on the Office of National Statistics. I was on the World Health Organization and various other statistical sites from those other countries, Australia, US, Canada, New Zealand. And this statistic kept coming up. And I've never, ever heard of it before. Let me know in the comments if you've heard of it. And it's called the healthy life expectancy. And here is a definition of what the healthy life expectancy is. And if you like a 3-letter acronym, call it the HLE. It's a statistical measure that estimates the average number of years a person can expect to live in good health, free from disabling conditions or serious illness. It's different from overall life expectancy, which simply measures the average age a person is expected to live, regardless of their health quality. As I say, I got this from the ONS, Office of National Statistics, and the World Health Organization. So let's give you an example. Let's say that in a particular area, the life expectancy was 80 years old, but the healthy life expectancy was 65. That means on average, people in that area can expect to live 65 years in good health and the remaining 15 years with some level of health issue or disability. So what do those numbers tell us? Well, it told me that is bloody terrifying. Is this something you've heard before? Let me know in the comments below, because I really hadn't found this before. And I guess it's probably going to be more terrifying when I actually share the statistics behind it. So I'm reading all this because I've collated all this from those various websites. So for men in the UK, their healthy life expectancy is around 63.1 years, and for women, 63.9 years. That is pretty low. That means that on average, men and women in the UK can expect to live in good health until their early 60s. I'm 56. That's 5 years away. That's no time. Now, I've got to say, when I dug into the data more, it said that some areas, their healthy life expectancy was higher, in others was lower. I think in some areas in the UK, it goes down to the mid-50s, which is horrific. And I think this is scary for a number of reasons. So first of all, I talk about retiring early, and to retire early, you are necessarily earning less money because you're ending your time to earn that money. And if you're reducing the number of years that you can earn the money, have you set aside enough money for yourself for this post-healthy life expectancy period? That can be a big worry, can't it? So I'd recommend, while you're still in your working years, you put a lot of thought into how you plan to fund your non-healthy retirement years. Then the other side of that transaction is an effect known as just one more year. Now, what that means is there's somebody who has worked out exactly how much money they need to retire. They got the number and they work up to that number. Let's say they need, I don't know, pick a number at random. I always used to pick the number million at random, but I got hammered in the comments for a million. So I'm going to say 500 grand. So someone has worked out, I need 500 grand to retire and to cover me for my healthy life expectancy and what happens after that. And then they get to that end, their boss says, could use you on this next project. And you're thinking, well, could use a little buffer, I guess, in my retirement funds. So you work just one more year. This is happening now, maybe to you or maybe to people you know. And just one more year often becomes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and so on. There is this propensity of us human beings to subconsciously think we're here forever. And I think all the evidence is out there to say we're not. So why do we fool ourselves into thinking we are? We got to take control of this. So if this has made you think that you now realize that your days are numbered, maybe take control of your life and not let fear control you, and go for the life that you've been working for and that you deserve. Also, at this point, I gotta say, I'm not your financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Blah, blah, blah. I'm me, you're you. I'm just trying to help you wake up and smell the roses and see that there are things that are in your control, not my control. You've got to work all this out for yourself, but taking control is the first step. And if I was planning for my retirement now, what I would do is I'd work hard to know what that number is. And if you want to know how to do that, if you look back over the last 10 videos that I've made, there's a lot of information there that will help you work out what that number will be. And then once I'd know what that is, I'd be laser focused on it. I'd work tooth and nail to hit that number. And when I hit it, I'd stop. I'd sit back. I'd do everything that I wanted to do, retire and live the life of my dreams. That's what I'd do if I was in that situation now. After all, the Olympics were on just a few weeks ago. And just imagine the 800 meters final. You didn't see the winner going through the tape at the end and thinking, oh, tell you what, I'll just run another 100 meters just to be safe, just to give me that security. So set your target, go for it. Don't be one of the also-rans in life. Did you know that there is a specific number that seems to be controlling our lives? I didn't. And when I realised it, I was pretty stunned, to be honest. And this isn't something that I've read. This is something that hit me square between the eyes. Douglas Adams was wrong in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy when he said the meaning of life was the number 42. The number, which is the meaning of life, is something I'm going to tell you in the next video. and it's going to blow your mind. So make sure you're subscribed and you ring that bell so you see that video, because if you're not amazed when you see that, I'm amazed that you're not amazed. Look, I really hope me talking to you like this has been helpful today. I feel sometimes a bit like a schoolmaster telling you what you need to do, but I'm going out there looking for the facts so that you can build your life and get the life that I think you deserve. I'll see you in the next one.